Hi guys and gals, today we're gonna talk about the back. We're gonna use a hyperextension machine and we're gonna do a back row while we're just statically holding ourselves parallel to the ground. Now I already have a video about hyperextension machines. I go through the anatomy, physiology and everything involved in that exercise. I also have a video about back rows with dumbbell. I talk about the anatomy, physiology, and again the details you should know about the exercise itself, the safety measures, and etc. etc. I'm gonna put a link up here in this video if you're watching from the YouTube channel that I have, and you can just click on the link and learn more about the details. Now by performing these two exercises with each other, we're not just targeting and involving all those muscles at the same time. We're also targeting the lat muscle, latissimus dorsi, which is here, more. The reason is, as I have mentioned in multiple videos, specifically the video that I linked up in this video, the lat muscle comes from all the way down and it goes all the way up and connects to your humerus bone or upper arm bone. So it goes all the way up and comes here. So as you notice, it goes to the hip as well. So when you're doing a back row while bending yourself, as you see, I push the hip back and I bring the chest down, and that causes my hip to go into a posterior tilt. What it does is that it's stretching the lat because it's bringing the lat down by bringing the pelvis down, and as you know, when you stretch a muscle, it's gonna be weaker, so it's not gonna be able to perform at its best. So a lot of you do the back row like this, but I already told you that when you want to do the back row properly, it's good to put the leg on the same side on the ground and bring the leg on the other part back, but that was for focus and stability. You still have the same problem here as well, because one leg is down here and your chest is down. This is gonna be a stretch, so you're not gonna have the same problem in here. This time, this is not a stretch. The hip is not in a posterior tilt. So when I do the exercise right now, again, point the toes out, make sure this is in a good level, so it should be where you hinge. I come here, all the instructions are already in those videos, and when I do the exercise right now, I'm gonna feel it massively in my lats, and there are a few things that you can play with in this exercise. Where you put your chest, so the angle that your torso has, you can put your chest all the way down here and do the exercise. Again, the more you bring yourself down, the more you're stretching the lat, so it's gonna be weaker. And also, the muscles that you use are gonna be different as well. You're still using the lats because you're angled down as well. But the more you angle down, the more you're gonna use the arm as well, because it's gonna be closer to your chest. So as you notice, if I'm parallel, the arm comes here, but if I angle down, the arm is here, so it's closer to my chest, so the arm involvement is gonna be more. And the more you come up, although the lat is not a stretch, the more you come up, it's gonna be really better for the lat involvement. But the problem is the angle of the exercise has changed as well. So the more you bring yourself up, the more you're targeting the upper muscles in your back, like your traps and also rear delts and infraspinalis and other muscles. There are a few things that you can do with this exercise to make it a little bit more challenging. You can do one side and then go straight to the other side without resting. So You do not rest when you do one side, you go straight to the other side, so the lower back is going to be involved all the time. Another thing that you can do, which is again going to target the lats and the lower back really huge, is going to be going heavy but performing single reps. So if I go heavy, I can just put the weight on the ground, then I stabilize myself, I bring the weight up, down. I put it on the ground, again I rest a few seconds, then I initiate up, down. But you can also go light and keep that constant tension on your lower back. And also, like always, make sure neck, head, chest are aligned with each other, so do not push the head back or bring the chin down.